Hi, everyone, and welcome to our fourth day of the 25 Days of Christmas Movie Marathon. I am your host, and today I'm going to be reacting to the Muppets Christmas Carol, the full version of it. That's including the song that they took out from the original one. Now, again, all these movies for the movie marathon for Christmas, I have seen them, but I want to revisit them this year because this is usually the time where I go and watch these movies with my grandmother. And unfortunately, because that she passed, I am not going to be able to watch them with her. So with that, I want to be able to share my reactions that I usually have with you guys for the movies that I usually react to or watch. And this is one that I love watching with her. My grandma was always a Muppets fan, and she's always been a Muppets fan. I have two Muppet specials, or two Muppet movies on here that I'm going to be reacting to. One of them is this one, and the other one is one from the 70s that it has Kermit, but not everyone, okay? So you'll see later on down the road that it's going to be, I believe it's this week, that you guys will see. But Muppets Christmas Carol is one that I absolutely love because yesterday was December 3rd and we watched the Christmas Carol Goes Wrong. That's when it goes wrong. This is the right version, okay? Even though this is Muppified. And I just want to say that this one is one that I know that I'm going to get emotional with because I love Muppets Christmas Carol. I love the songs that they have in this one. It makes me really feel like this is Christmas. This is the movie. This is one of the movies I feel like it's not Christmas without it. Like Home Alone has to be watched during Christmas, or Polar Express, or Jingle All the Way, or Christmas Carol, or It's a Wonderful Life, or Scrooged, or any of these other amazing movies that you guys watch for the holidays. And I believe that it's important for us to go and watch these movies with our families, with our friends, especially those who have not seen them, because you guys are missing out if you guys have not watched them before. And I'm going to be an emotional mess with this one because, especially with one particular scene, when it comes on, you guys will definitely know. And I just feel like this is the time to be able to let the emotions out, to have fun, to laugh, to cry, to smile, to get angry, to get every emotion out. This is the movie that I feel like you should get all your emotions out, in my opinion. But, you know, it's just a lot that we have to take in. But it's time for us to travel back in time to the 1800s. Or the 1700s, depending on when this was written, the original novel, when it was written. And let's go ahead and discuss about some very valuable lessons that we definitely need to talk about, especially both in the beginning, during the reaction, and at the end of the reaction. Because this one makes you really think. And this is where I'm going to bring out some of my Christian faith. This one I am going to, because there's a lot of reasons to do so, especially because this is about being a new person. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into this reaction of the Muppets Christmas Carol right now. That's right. I forgot about Jim Henson and Richard Hunt, that they both passed before. I think that they passed before the movie's release, or even some of them, or one of them died during production. You know what I really love about this opening is that you can kind of tell that this is a model and that they're just panning through backwards through a model. And I love that to make it feel like it's a Muppet environment, but also feeling like it's an actual movie, like an actual Christmas movie, or just like something of old. And it's so good. And I really, really love how this looks.
Well, that was a fine meal. Yes, it was, wasn't it? Yes, what should we do now?
I love how with Muppet movies that you can have Muppet characters interacting with human characters and it feels natural. That's what I love about this, is how natural it feels. It feels right.
Christmas apples.
We got Macintosh.
Your Christmas apples.
Red delicious.
Tuppence a piece while they last.
They won't last long the way you're eating them.
Creating scarcity drives the prices up.
Welcome to the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Thank you.
I am here to tell the story.
And I am here for the food.
My name is Charles Dickens.
And my name is Rizzo the Rat.
Okay.
Hey, wait a second. You're not Charles Dickens.
No, he's Charles Dickens.
Charles
That's
Dickens
fine.
was a 19th century novelist, a genius.
Oh,
Yes,
you
he-
were too kind. The Marleys were dead to begin with.
Mhm.
Pardon me?
That's how the story begins,
Yep.
Rizzo. The Marleys were dead to begin with.
Oh,
As dead as a doornail.
Right.
it's a good beginning. It's creepy and kind of spooky.
It actually is a creepy book if
In
you
life,
kind of think
the
about
Marleys
it.
had
For
been
those who have
business
read
partners
it, it
with
actually
a
really
shrewd
is.
moneylender named Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh.
You will meet him as he comes around that corner.
Where?
There.
When?
Now.
Here we go. There he is, Scrooge himself. Michael Caine does such an incredible performance with this movie. It's just so good. I love the emotional depth that he puts into Scrooge. Knocks it out of the park. I know the songs too, so if I start singing, it's just because I know the songs. There goes Mr. Humbug. There goes Mr. Grimm. If they even prize for being me, then it should be him.
Old Scrooge, he loves his money 'cause he thinks it gives him power.
If he became a flavor, you can bet he would be sour. No, it's definitely
Even the
true.
vegetables don't like him.
I don't think anybody would like him.
What an unpleasant fella.
Yeah, he is.
Boy, this really is a dirty city.
You telling me?
Using him like the rag. Oh, wow.
Grasping, clutching, covetous old sinner.
Oh, Kermit in the back. Nice to see him.
I mean, you can yell and scream and you're right, but it won't do no good.
Oh.
Because I'm the stone you can't squeeze blood from, and that's the truth.
Oh.
Thank you for not shouting at me.
Yeah, but throwing you out of the door does not excuse it either. He really is a skinflint.
People preparing feasts, giving parties, spending the mortgage money on frivolities. One might say that December is the foreclosure season. Harvest time for the moneylenders.
That's a very, very messed up thing to think. Very, very messed up.
If you please, Mr. Scrooge, it's gotten colder. Any bookkeeping staff would like to have an extra shovel full of coal for the fire.
Oh, great.
How would the bookkeepers like to be suddenly
Oh. Oh, yikes. Uh-huh. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Christmas a humbug, Uncle? Oh, you don't mean that, surely.
Oh, Scrooge means it?
Merry Christmas, you say? What right have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
What right have you to be dismal? You're rich enough.
He's got him there, the old boy's speechless.
Every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips would be cooked with his own turkey and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
Yikes.
Nephew, you keep Christmas in your own way, and let me keep it in mine.
It's like the saying goes, you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink.
Though it's never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe that Christmas has done me good and will do me good, and I say, God bless it.
God bless it indeed. Amen to that.
One celebrate Christmas on the other.
God's gonna deal with you, I can tell you that for sure.
Mr. Scrooge,
Oh,
I
Dr.
presume?
Bunsen Honeydew and Beaker. These two are great. I love them.
Welcome. This jolly old gentleman here is Mr. Scrooge. He's very generous to charity.
Nice to put him on the spot like that, Fred.
Some of
Wow.
us are endeavoring to raise a fund for the poor and the homeless. What might I put you down for?
He's gonna say nothing.
Nothing.
You
Exactly.
wish to remain anonymous?
No.
I wish to be left alone.
Ooh.
I do not make merry myself at Christmas.
That certainly is true.
I cannot afford to make idle people merry.
That is certainly not true.
Why ever did you get married?
Why? Because I fell in love.
That's the only thing in the world sillier than a Merry Christmas.
It's no use, Uncle. I shall keep my Christmas humour to the last. A Merry Christmas to you, and a Happy New Year.
Oh, yay. Merry Christmas to you too, Fred. What one person can do, like, when somebody leaves the room, like, the vibe and the atmosphere can change so dramatically.
I know how to treat the poor.
Oh, great.
My taxes go to pay for the prisons and the poorhouses. The homeless must go there.
Wow.
Some would rather die.
If they'd rather die, then they'd better do it.
Ooh.
And decrease the surplus population.
Sheesh.
I think we've taken enough of Mr. Scrooge's time. Oh,
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah, he is an unfortunate person.
What do you want?
Penny for the song, Governor?
Oh. Oh, bro! That bunny didn't do anything to you! He is a miserable old tightwad. Thank God that when my grandma was alive, oh, she would have never been like that. No, absolutely not. She loved Christmas. Christmas is her favorite time of the year. Ended up becoming my favorite time of the year, too.
I'll see you at 8 tomorrow morning.
Oh. I wouldn't want to work
Tomorrow's
for Christmas.
8:30 then.
What kind of a time difference is that?
Half an hour off hardly seems customary for Christmas Day.
Right.
How much time off is customary, Mr. Cratchit?
Why, the whole day.
Exactly. Even if you're a skinny, even if you're an old skinflint and an old tightwad, then no, you need to do the whole
Other
day.
businesses
I
will
don't
be
care.
closed. You'll have no one to do business with. It'll waste a lot of expensive coal for the fire.
He's got some points.
It's a poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every December the 25th. But as I seem to be the only person around who knows that, take the day off.
Huh, there we go.
With their employer gone at last, Bob Cratchit and the bookkeepers immediately began that most pleasant of activities, the celebration of Christmas.
There we go.
The world is at her best, you know, when people love and care. The promise of excitement is one the night will keep. After all, there's only one more sleep till Christmas.
Yep. When it comes to that, nobody ever wants to be sleeping, especially for Christmas. Even when Christmas is difficult, and depending on what the statuses is of the world are, I mean, come on. Everybody looks forward to Christmas. Oh, wow. There we go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
How fun everything seems to be.
After all, there's only one more sleep till Christmas Day.
Oh, I already started tearing up because I had beautiful memories of this.
Now, once again, I must ask you to remember that the Marleys were dead and decaying in their graves.
Yeah.
Ew.
That one thing you must remember, or nothing that follows will seem wondrous.
Why are you whispering?
It's for dramatic emphasis.
You know, I even love the literature aspects that they put in this movie because of the fact that you could be able to take this as literature lessons too. Oh. Oh, that's freaky.
Jacob Marley.
If that's not telling you anything, then I don't know what is. That's God telling you something, Scrooge. For now, keep in mind.
To say that Scrooge was not startled would be untrue. Still, the moment had passed, and the world was as it should be.
He ain't right. Didn't even break his concentration.
I mean, he is supposed to be Charles Dickens, so of course it makes sense that he would know the story from the back of his hands because he wrote it.
Wait a minute, I had a little bag of jelly beans over here.
Is that
Just
really
get over
important,
here.
though?
All right. Sheesh.
You need to find another way in.
Scrooge made his way up the staircase, caring not a button for the darkness.
Did he just bend his nose more in?
But the incident at the door had made Scrooge wary. Before he shut himself in for the night, he searched his rooms.
How could you even sleep in a room or in a house with so many rooms by yourself? That's just freaky. Like, I can't do it.
To conduct a proper search, Scrooge was forced to light the lamps.
How does he do that?
Because he's the writer. I'd be freaking out if it was just me living in a house by myself. But if it was a dead person's house and I'm the only one there, and depending on the stuff that they did, no. That's like a haunted house right there. I don't believe in haunted houses, but I do believe in like I do believe in some things. Like I believe in the supernatural, but I believe more of like of the vibes that they leave, their presence that they leave. I can't. If it's someone that did a lot of bad things but didn't repent, I'd be scared out of my mind. I would not want to live there. Now, it's different from my grandmother's because, first of all, she did not die in her home. She passed away in the hospital. So it's different in that situation. But if it's someone's home that they died in, that's a different story. That's a completely different story. Here we go. If that wasn't already bad enough with the door handle turning into the face of your old dead partner, then this is not gonna be good. Ooh, this is freaky. There's like a little bit of subtle electronic music in the background too.
It's Ebenezer Scrooge.
There they are.
Looking older and more wicked than ever. I knew he wouldn't disappoint us.
I'm glad that they gave that role of Jacob Marley to Statler and Waldorf because I think that they would have been perfect for it. I really feel like they're the perfect choice for him.
You may be a bit of undigested beef, a blob of mustard, a crumb of cheese. Yes, there's more of gravy than of grave about you.
Actually, that's a good joke, to be honest. That's actually funny. I'm not gonna lie.
We're always heckling you. It's good to be heckling again. Doing anything again.
That's crazy.
We're Marley and Marley. We're Marley and Marley.
The one thing I am very impressed about with this version of A Christmas Carol is how they... Oh!
You're doomed for all time.
I'm very impressed with how they did it with the transparency of the ghosts of Jacob and Robert Marley. Like, it's so impressive. And like even the boxes, this is very impressive. I'm wondering if they had them as grade puppets and they had done this in front of a green screen, because I can kind of see a little bit of cutouts on where they probably cut out and took the green background out. This is very impressive work.
I've already had enough of that. Without these visits, you cannot hope to avoid the past week. Expect the first ghost tonight when the bell tolls one. Can't I meet them all at once and get it over with? When the bell tolls one.
There's a lot of parallelisms that I can make to this. biblically. I'll get to them when I'll get to them when it's towards the end. But like, this is insane.
Whoa, that's scary stuff. Hey, should we be worried about the kids in the audience?
No, it's
Not
all right. This is
yet.
culture.
Uh-huh.
Not
Oh,
yet.
jelly
Though.
bean? I had them in my pocket all along.
Are you for real?
Really hate this.
You wanted to know what was happening. Now Scrooge's bedchamber is on this side of the house.
Oh.
Jump!
There's only two things in this life I hate. Heights and jumping from them.
Uh-huh.
God save my little broken body.
Uh-huh. Wow. Wow. Okay.
Missed.
Yeah,
Oh,
unfortunately.
wait a second. I forgot my jelly beans.
What? You could have just went underneath the bars the whole time?
You are such an idiot.
Yeah. No, he's right. Why? How come you just didn't go underneath the bars and that was it? Rizzo, man, you disappoint me there. Here we go. Where the clock strikes 1. How does the other noises not wake you up, but that one does?
Expect the first ghost when the bell tolls. Oh.
Wow. Oh, that's pretty freaky. I mean, that's a Muppet, but that's freaky though. How do they do it with these puppets?
What are we doing?
Nothing.
What?
Well, just hold on.
That's wild. How do they do this though? Green screen, special effects? That's crazy. I love the visuals that they have for this movie because it's so ahead of its time. For this being the 90s, this movie was ahead of its time.
Louise.
Yeah, it's net.
Oh, was that a real chicken? No way. How did they do this?
And so they arrived in Mr. Scrooge's childhood.
It was the worst trip of my life.
Oh, what happened to him?
I was a boy here.
Sometimes, depending on the person that you're referring to, you might actually be thinking to yourself, I don't think that person was ever a child. Oh, that's right, because this is the past. Makes sense why he wouldn't be able to be seen or heard by the past. Makes sense.
I know it all so well, Spirit.
I believe it.
Scrooge beheld a small boy, a boy he knew, oh, very well indeed.
Himself.
Last coach is leaving. Come on, he never goes home for Christmas. Who cares about stupid old Christmas?
Wow. What kind of childhood did you have?
Rats don't understand these things.
You
They
were
don't?
never a lonely child?
I had 1,274 brothers and sisters.
Wow. That's wild. How do you even have that many siblings? How do rats even have that many children, though? That's the crazier part. Oh. Oh, no. Oh!
So, Master Scrooge,
Oh, Sam the Eagle! Love Sam.
you must keep your nose to the grindstone. Card
Oh,
lad. And one day, life will be as solid as this very building.
Oh, no. Really?
I've been meaning to fix that shelf.
Oh,
Today, you become a man of business.
I'm looking forward to it, Headmaster.
You will love business. Just the American way.
the American?
It's just...
Oh, it is the British way.
Right.
Come, Scrooge. There's much to see.
Remember, don't tip the driver.
Don't tip the driver? Wow.
Night was falling, and the lamplighter's were plying their trade.
Hey,
Oh.
hey, light the lamp!
Oh, no! No! Wow. Well, that's one way of putting him out. Now he's freezing. Now he's freezing. You better get him out.
There he is.
Fozzie! I love Fozzie. There's Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem in the back. Oh, Rizzo is frozen. Oh!
I suppose I should be grateful for that.
You should be.
Attention.
He's the only one that could get anyone to be quiet. Leave it an animal.
At this time in the proceedings, it is a tradition for me to make a little speech.
And it's a tradition for us to take a little nap.
Wow.
Here's my Christmas speech. Thank you all, and Merry Christmas.
That was
What?
the speech. It's dumb. It was obvious. It's pointless. It was
Short?
short.
Yeah.
Huh?
Animal does not like this. He's so used to getting all crazy and loud and oh, the Swedish chef! Oh! There we go!
His annual Christmas party. That wasn't so much. I think we'll do it twice a year.
Twice a year?
Oh, that's to Scrooge.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'd like to introduce you to Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh no. This is not gonna be going good.
There was, of course, another Christmas Eve with this young woman. Some years later.
Oh, please. Do not show me that Christmas.
Oh no, here we go. Oh, I already know what's... I already know. I'm gonna... Oh, this one I break down easily. This song I break down easily, but when it hits Bless Us All, I'm a total mess.
Another year before our wedding, Ebenezer.
But it can't be helped, Belle. How could we marry now? There's not even enough for a decent home.
You can still make your way to making a good life for
So you
her.
said last year.
Business continues to be poor.
But you could still bring her some amount of happiness.
I love you, Belle.
Mm-hmm. You love her, but you don't show
You
it.
did once.
You don't show your love for her anymore. It's more for money. I got goosebumps already with this song. I'm already crying. This is what I actually needed, to be honest. I can see so much emotion going through Michael Caine right now. Like I feel it. Like it must have been so emotional for him doing this scene too, because like I believe it. Nah, Rizzo, I get it. I did the same thing too. I don't understand why they took this song out. I mean, I get it that it might have been so-called boring to young kids, but it's an important part of the movie. I mean, imagine going through all that and going through the regrets that you had over time.
Oh, what was that?
2 o'clock.
Oh, is it too early for breakfast?
Yes.
Good, supper time.
Supper time at 2 in the morning? Oh yeah.
Come in.
Oh yeah. I love the puppetry that they did on this version of the Ghost of Christmas Present. So good. Ooh, a huge big ol' feast.
My mind is filled with the here and now. And the now is Christmas.
I don't believe I've ever met anybody like you before, sir.
Really? Over 1,800 of my brothers have come before me.
1,800?
Imagine the grocery bills.
That's actually good too.
Before this day is done, you will understand.
Oh no! Oh no!
There you go.
May I welcome you to Christmas morning.
There we go. It's true wherever you find love, it feels like Christmas. I love this song too. It's so sweet. My girl used to love this song. This one, Bless Us All, she used to repeat these two so many times. It is the season of the Spirit, the message if we hear it. It makes it last all year. It is the season of the heart, a special time of caring, the ways of love made clear. It is the season of the spirit, the message if we hear it, it makes it last all year. It's in the singing of the street corner choir. It's in home and getting warm by the fire. It's true wherever you find love. It feels like Christmas. It's true wherever you find love. It feels like Christmas. Oh, I get so many memories with this song. It's not even funny. I'm tearing up again. I don't know if I mentioned I was gonna be emotional during this reaction, but I really am. I really am. It's so pretty. It is so pretty.
Well, now, we've had the plum pudding and sung the carols. What now, my lovelies?
A game, Fred.
Yeah, we must have a game at Christmas.
Do people play games at Christmas?
Games.
They do anything at Christmas, you know, play games, they have feasts, Christmas dinner, gatherings. You know, they do anything and everything at Christmas.
Is it vegetable?
No.
Mineral?
No.
Animal then?
What else?
What else indeed?
Is it found on a farm?
Never.
In the city?
Usually.
Oh.
Does it pull a hansom cab?
Certainly not.
How about a dog?
No.
A cat?
I said it first.
now you're wanting to get involved, huh?
A mouse.
No.
A rat?
You called?
No.
Leech.
Oh dear, it's too wonderful.
Wait, I know. An unwanted creature, but not a rat, a leech, or a cockroach.
Uh-huh.
Then what?
Then what?
What?
It's Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yes.
Ooh. The reputation that you build for yourself, it impacts a lot of people's judgments and opinions about them, which is the most upsetting part of it all.
Come, there's much to see.
Uh-huh.
No more. I wish to see no more.
You're gonna have to, Scrooge. Especially this house.
Why have we come to this odd corner of the town?
It's Christmas here too, you know.
It's Christmas everywhere.
Get out of the way.
Hey, don't be sweeping the chimney now. You're blocking the smell.
But doesn't that also make the ashes get pushed down the chimney stack?
Who's that?
Mrs. Cratchit.
Is that who I think it is? Oh, Miss Piggy! I love her. Oh, I love her so much.
It smells so good, Mother.
It does, doesn't it?
I love her sassiness. She's just so awesome. I love her. Shout out to the Muppets. Shout out to Miss Piggy and Kermit especially. I love them. If they see this video, oh wow, I'd be so happy about it.
And hot.
Bro, get off! Just jump right off!
I thought you said we couldn't eat the chestnuts until Father and Tiny Tim get home.
Oh.
I wasn't eating them. I was checking them. Just not abstain, dear, and do not shout, Bettina.
Belinda.
Bettina. Of course you are, Bettina.
Belinda.
Oh.
Whatever.
They definitely got that from their mom. Oh, what this next song? Ooh, how am I gonna do this? I wish that there was a way of doing this. I'm gonna try my best for my grandmother's sake to at least sing "Bless Us All" for this reaction, even if that means I have to edit out a lot of stuff. I'm gonna do my best.
Oh, I fell down the chimney and landed on a flaming hot goose.
You have all the fun.
What do you mean he has all the fun?
How was he at church?
Or as good as gold and better. He told me that he hoped the people saw him in church because it might be pleasant for them to remember upon Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Amen.
A remarkable child.
Amen.
And with that, the Cratchits came to what was surely the happiest single moment in all the livelong year.
Such a meager feast. But very much appreciated.
Yep. Yep.
It only seems right that I should lift a glass to my employer. I give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
All right.
The founder of the feast, indeed. If I had him here, I would give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I bet he would choke on it.
Wow.
Well, I suppose that on the blessed day of Christmas, one must drink to the health of Mr. Scrooge, even though he is odious, stingy, wicked,
Yep.
stealing, badly dressed.
Badly dressed? Badly dressed. Okay.
Mr. Scrooge, you'll be very merry and happy this day, I have no doubt.
Cheers.
Cheers.
God bless us, everyone.
Oh, here we go. Oh, I'm gonna see if I can try to make it through
Life
this.
is full of sweet surprises. Every day's a gift. The sun comes up and I can feel it lift my spirit. Fills me up with laughter. Fills me up with song. I look into the eyes of love and know that I belong. Bless us all who gather here. The loving family I hold dear.
No place on earth
compares with home. And every path will bring me back from where I roam.
Bless us all
That as we live, we always comfort and forgive.
We have so much that we can share with those in need we see around us everywhere. Let us always love each other.
Lead us to the light. Let us hear the voice of reason singing in the night.
Let us run from anger and catch us when we fall.
Teach us in our dreams, and please, yes, please, bless us one and all.
Bless us all
with playful years, with noisy games and joyful tears.
We reach for you and we stand tall. And in our prayers and dreams we ask you, bless us all.
We reach for you
and we stand tall. And in our prayers and dreams we ask you, bless us all. I barely made it. Oh. Most likely the background music is gonna have to get filtered out. If I can at least keep the actual vocals in, I will be very surprised. And if it doesn't get me a copyright strike, then it was meant to be by God.
Remain unaltered. I believe the child will die. But what then? If he's going to die, he'd better do it and decrease the surplus population.
Those are your words, Scrooge. Those were your words.
As the Cratchit family vanished into the darkness, Scrooge kept his eyes upon Tiny Tim until the last.
I love how practical the sets are and everything. They really made this such a believable experience. Oh, man.
Go forth and know him better, man.
Well, Scrooge, you're in for it now. If that woke you up, the future is going to wake you up even more. And that's what us as people, unfortunately, do not realize and recognize until it is way too late.
Oh!
Oh, no.
This is too scary. I don't think I want to see any more.
No, when you're right, you're right. You're on your own, folks. We'll meet you at the finale.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Dude, you wrote this book.
With a thankful heart.
That's freaky, to be honest, if you think about it. There's a lot of metaphors that go into this, which is something I'm going to be explaining at the end. This video is going to probably be one of the longest ones I've ever made. Ooh, that's freaky. The visual effects that they have on this movie is just so incredible for this being the 90s. I'm very impressed.
And he didn't give it to me. Well, it's likely to be a cheap funeral. I don't know a single soul who would go to it. I won't mind going. If lunch is provided.
Wow.
Of what poor wretch do they speak?
You're gonna find out soon enough, man.
So, back from the house of sadness, I see.
That's not creepy at all.
No, I've got his blankets.
His blankets. Why, Mrs. Dilber, they're still warm. I don't pay extra for the warmth, you know.
You should. It's the only warmth he ever had.
Ooh. Yikes. That's true. If Scrooge keeps going on that path, that would probably be the only warmth that he ever had. And that warmth would probably grow cold anyways. No.
A place of joy and laughter.
Probably not for long.
Why is it so quiet, Spoon?
Well, you're gonna have to look in the window and find out. That probably might not be the answer that you want.
I picked a spot for Tim where he can see. It's a spot on the hill. And you can see the ducks on the river. Tiny Tim
always loved watching the ducks on the river.
It's so tough. At it again. I knew this movie was gonna mess with you emotionally.
It's all right, children. Life is made up of meetings and partings. That is the way of it.
Mm-hmm.
I am sure we shall never forget Tiny Tim or this first parting that there was among us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That'd be the same thing for my grandma as well. Why it has to be like that? Because that's how God made us. But you just gotta keep on going. You just gotta keep on going.
Must we return to this place?
Unfortunately, yes, Scrooge.
Who was the wretched man whose death brought so much glee and happiness to others?
Well, Scrooge, if that doesn't give you an indication on who it is, I do not know what will.
Answer me one more question. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they the shadows of things that may be only?
It's maybe, but he's not going to answer it for you. You have to be understanding that that's for you to understand and recognize before it's too late. Yep. That's your grave.
I will live my life in the past, the present, and the future. I will not shut out the lessons the spirits have taught me. Tell me that I may sponge out the writing on this stone.
You can.
Please speak to me.
I think your prayers have been answered, Scrooge.
I'm home.
Yes, you are.
Oh, heaven in the Christmas time be praised for this day. I say it on my knees, Jacob and Robert, on my knees. Oh, they're not torn down. They're here. And I'm here. Oh, it's a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know whether the prize turkey has been sold in the window?
Oh, the one twice as big as me? It's still there?
Oh, it's a pleasure talking with you then. Go and buy it.
Be serious.
I am being serious. Buy it for me and I'll give you a shilling. No, I'll give you 5 shillings. I'll bring it to Bob Cratchit's house. What a surprise it'll be. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim.
There you go.
Mr. Scrooge?
Pardon me, gentlemen, but about the charity donation you asked me for yesterday.
Well,
Put me down for...
that
that much?
Yeah.
A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you.
Oh my goodness, I don't know what to say. I just wish there was something we could give you.
Oh, a scarf.
On a sea of love and a thankful heart,
Life is like a journey. Who knows when it ends?
Yes, and if you need to know the measure of a man, you simply count his friends.
Stop and look around you. The glory that you see is born again each day. Don't let it slip away. How precious life can be. This song gets me too. This movie is going to be one of those where it's like, if I need a good cry, I'm going to be going to this one. They're both like, what? Well, that's what happens when a person's changed for the better. It's that you don't even recognize them anymore because of how much good that they've changed, and for the better.
Bob Cratchit?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So here you are.
Mr. Scrooge,
You, sir, were not at work this morning as we had discussed.
but Mr. Scrooge, sir, we did discuss it. It's Christmas Day. You gave me the day off.
I, Ebenezer Scrooge,
Uh-oh.
would I do a thing like that?
No, I mean, yes, but you did.
Bob Cratchit, I've had my fill of this.
I feel of you, Mr. Scrooge.
Emily, Mr.
And therefore, Bob Cratchit,
Can leave this house at once.
and therefore I'm about to raise your salary.
To raise your rent and pavement.
Wow.
Raise your salary and pay your mortgage on this house.
Please, sir, come inside. Yes, yes.
Bob Cratchit, would you and your family care to join us for a little turkey dinner this fine Christmas day?
Huh. Christmas. There we go.
And so, as Tiny Tim observed,
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
God bless everyone. That was good. That was good. That was beautiful. That was so beautiful. So I'm going to let this keep on playing for the rest of the video, and I'm going to get into discussing about it and getting into the important parts of the Muppets Christmas Carol for this part right now. So, yes. So this is the first time I actually sang during a reaction, but then, like I've said before, I have watched this movie before, and I've absolutely loved this movie because it is such an emotional movie that I feel like I really feel like I could let my emotions out in the way that I'm wanting to. And the thing is that for me, I believe, in my opinion, that this whole entire movie is like a metaphor, and not just for changing a person, but like I said, I feel like the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and yet to come, they're different metaphors, and I could be wrong. For example, I believe that the ghosts of Christmas present, or actually, well, yes, let's start with them. I believe that that's a metaphor for Jesus. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, how so? Think about the wreath that's on his head. It's kind of like the crown of thorns that Jesus had to bear when he was on the cross, when he was about to get crucified. And the fact that, you know, that the ghost of Christmas present, he didn't really remember stuff that he said before because of every good thing that's happening, and that he chose not to remember everything because he just wants to be in the moment and wants to be happy, It's like a symbolism of when you are in a deep relationship with God, you forget about the problems around you for that time being, and you stick with the now, and you're just so happy that things are at peace. You have this beautiful relationship with God. You're not letting things pull you down or keeping you at bay, and you just want to keep it solidly on his word, and you want to feel that presence that he has in that peace. And I believe that it's a beautiful metaphor for it, especially because when he was getting to be that huge size compared to that small size and being a normal size, it's like in the Bible how even my girl would even say it, like when she would feel the presence of God, she could feel like if Jesus was expanding himself throughout the whole entire room, so that way you'd feel his warmth and his peace. And that's kind of what it is, because it's like, you know, God could be so huge to the point that he's holding the world in the palm of his hands, to the point that he could be so small that he could be in your heart. And yeah, it could be a metaphor to you. It could be a physical thing or spiritual thing. And it's a spiritual metaphor going into how, yes, Jesus can go into your heart and you can have him as your personal savior, and that you could accept him and trust in him. And that's what it means by accepting him and into your heart, and is that you are trusting in him, and that you are going into this random unknown place that you have no idea about, but you're trusting in him to go onto this journey that you don't even know what's going to happen. And that's what I love about the Ghost of Christmas Present, is how true to Christianity I believe that he represents. Now, when it comes to the Ghost of Christmas Past, I believe that that's a metaphor for our childhood, and that's a metaphor for our past life. And that before we accept Christ into our heart, those are the decisions that we made, the things that we said, the actions that we've taken, and the thoughts that we thought of that didn't belong to God, but instead it was more of the things that we didn't want to do, but we're reminded of it. And we're reminded of these things because of a couple of things. One, the enemy loves to throw things back at us, and that's a way of doing it. But in this case, it's to show what type of person you were. Now, when you're observing how you were compared to who you are now, whether if it's going from bad to good or good to bad, you always have that conscience in your mind thinking, I did this. Why did I do this? How did I become from this person, from that person before to this person now? And you're wondering about it, and you're thinking about it, and you're observing it, and you're taking everything all in, and then you're wondering, how did I make this change? And then you have to go back and retrace your steps to the point that you're now understanding, this is why I am the way that I am. And that ties into Robert and Jacob Marley, or in the original text, Jacob Marley, where I like the metaphor and the physical metaphor of him showing the chains and the boxes and the weights that he had dragged on him, especially for those who kept their burdens and their sins weighing them down, and that instead of giving them to God, they just left themselves to be burdened, feeling like if they're not gonna go anywhere, but they can go somewhere, they can get better if that person really wants to, but it's up to them if they want to just cast those chains off and give them to God. It's up to them. And that's what I love about this, is that it's a metaphor for it, and that the ghosts were trying to prevent from Scrooge to be going the same direction. But in order for it to happen, you have to realize what's holding you down, what's keeping you at bay from reaching that spiritual relationship that you need to have with God if you've already accepted him, or what's keeping you away from God. That's another thing that you have to realize about this. And the fact that they were being dragged down, it's interesting symbolism to being dragged to hell. And I don't want to talk about stuff like this, especially during Christmas, but I can't help it when it comes to this, because it needs to be said and it needs to be known that, you know, it's like being dragged back to hell, where if you decide that you just don't want to give those things to God, but you worry all the time, it's like being dragged to your own personal hell, whether if it's hell itself or your own personal hell. And your own personal hell could be that you're keeping yourself in this tight environment where you can't breathe, where you can't walk. You feel like you have so many burdens and so many sins that are weighing you down that you just want to let them go, but maybe it's something that's holding you back habitually, like a habitual sin, or maybe it's past actions that you can't forgive yourself from. But the more that you talk to God, the more that you let go of things, the more that you trust in Him and read His Word and have this conversation with Him, the more that you're going to realize that you never needed any of this to begin with. And the more that you're going to understand how merciful and how beautiful God can be, and that He will judge you more by the actions that you have done to keep a faithful relationship to Him. Yes, you are going to make mistakes. Yes, you are going to sin every single day of your life. There's no doubt about it. I sin every single day. I make a mistake every single day. I ask Him for forgiveness every single day. I give Him my problems, my fears, my anxieties. I give them to Him. And that's the thing, is that when we take this into consideration, the more you do it, the more it's not going to become a habit, the more it's going to become a second nature. That's what I started realizing. I started watching Christian videos, and I wanted to know better about myself and my relationship with God, and I figured it out. So yes, I sometimes fall into habitual sin. That's something that we all do, okay? And it doesn't have to be something that's like the nastiest of things. No, habitual sin could also mean stuff like, you know, procrastination, laziness, or fearing all the time. My habitual sin, to be honest, is fearing, okay? And sometimes I fear about every single thing. I'll admit that. I do. But then I started to realize, why do I do so all the time? And why can't I just give it up, give it to God, and call it a day? And sometimes I just forget that God's in control. And that's the chain that was tying me down into thinking, maybe I'm not good enough for God. Maybe because I keep sinning certain ways or thinking certain thoughts. You know, maybe it's because I'm sinning because I'm thinking about somebody I don't like, and I'm sinning about, okay, I just can't stand this person, this and that. Or maybe it was from previous experiences with people or with work experiences, and me thinking, is this really the necessary thing for me to say or to think? And it's not right. Yes, you want to let it out and you want to vent, yes, but do I want to take the action, like really dramatic actions, into consideration? No. It's never the answer to take dramatic situations and turn them into something way bigger than it is. I believe that when we have this talk with God and we rant with Him, the more that we're going to feel like we're not having a conversation with God, but we're going to be having conversations with a best friend. And that's what I started doing ever since my grandma was in the hospital in 2019, before she passed away 5 years later. And I started realizing Jesus really is my best friend. And because that God is not going to abandon me and is not going to drive away from me even if I was to do something wrong. And that He sees me for my love for Him and my love for this relationship that I want to have with Him. And I started understanding that and realizing that, and I started maturing. And that's another thing about this job that I currently have. that I gotta give a shout out to my boss, and I gotta give a shout out to my coworkers that I have, is that this job is helping me to mature and be driven to goals that I want to reach. And with my YouTube channel, I'm trying to do the same thing. And with that, I'm starting to feel more goal driven. Start wanting to try to do more, but while taking care of myself, and do more while I'm maintaining a healthier relationship with God. This is the push that I needed in order for me to succeed and see God's plan for me. His plan for me is to grow in different aspects of my life. And I believe that this job is helping for me to grow before I start heading out into the engineering field. Now, my next phase is for me to do my engineering stuff. And with that, this is what I want to do for the channel. In 2025, I want to do engineering videos on top of it. I want to be able to share with you guys projects that I do in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Java, C++, C#, and Python, and all these other different ones. And to come up with something incredible, to come up with brand new things, to come up with things that maybe you might not even think of or might not even consider, because that you might be thinking, this is too difficult. It's not that it's too difficult. I will tell you that for sure. It's not that things are too difficult. It's because that you're brand new. We all put ourselves in this tough situation because that we're brand new, because of the pressures of life and because of the pressures of people. And that's another thing too. When it comes to this, back to Christmas Carol, I believe that every single time, especially with, the future, we're uncertain of it. And this is why I think having like a Grim Reaper-esque type of character and figure for the Ghosts of Christmas Future is the best representation, because the future is scary. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know the events that could unfold that might either make us or break us. And that's something that we have to take with a leap of faith. And circling it back to my faith and my Christian faith and my relationship with God, yes, the future is uncertain. We don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow or right now. But that doesn't mean that we should be afraid of everything. That was one of my other fears, and my habitual sins was fearing the future. I decided later on, because my grandma used to say I would always be a little bit too nervous about the future, and I had to embrace the present as it is now. That's what I want to do. I'm sick and tired of fearing the future. There's nothing we can do about it. The future is left up to God. It's not up to us. We just live every day the way that we need to. We live life the way that we need to in order for us to develop and to grow and to make sure that we have this relationship amongst ourselves and with God. And that's what I love about Muppets Christmas Carol, is because it does it in a way where not only can you do it for adults, but you're doing it for children as well. And you're doing it in an environment where you feel like if you are okay with having your kids to watch it, and that they can get the necessary lesson that they need in order for them to move in their life and to move into this better environment for themselves, physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, even financially, and whatever type of aspect in your life that you want to go into. And I believe that Muppets Christmas Carol, is a movie that needs to be experienced by everybody. And it doesn't have to just be Muppets Christmas Carol. You can do it for the kids if you want to do it for them. But if you want to do any other version of A Christmas Carol, I say do so. I believe that this is a very important story because of the fact that it really is more like a life lesson than it is just a story. And I believe that Muppets Christmas Carol, or Christmas Carol in general, is one of those stories I believe that it should be experienced every year and read every year. I actually have read A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It was a free book on Apple Books, luckily, and I was able to read it to my grandma before she passed away, and we were able to get to the main parts of the story. And I absolutely loved this book because of how close this version is to that. I know that Disney also did another version of it with Jim Carrey, which a lot of people, I remember when I went to go see it, they walked out of it because of how dark and how adult it was. But then when I was reading the book, I started thinking that's actually how it is. And that's when I thought, so this movie is accurately depicting Christmas Carol correctly. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have to do a reaction to Christmas Carol, but I'm going to have to do it next year, not this year, because I wanted to do this one because this is a very important one to me. And with that, I want to make sure that this message is very important to get across. And that's why I did this one after A Christmas Carol Goes Wrong, because we'll have the funny, humorous version, for the moment being, but then we get into a family-friendly version that I believe this is the best version that you can watch with kids. And yes, I did involve a lot of my faith into this, but I believe that it's important to do so because God said that if we're embarrassed of expressing our faith in relationships to others, between ourselves and God, and we're embarrassed and scared of spreading it to others, then God will be embarrassed of us for not doing so. Because he wants us to be able to not be afraid of taking this message to other people. And the more that I started doing so, the more that I started getting these conversations with people about God. And I understood the reasons why as to they don't want to follow God or why they do. For me, it was ever since I was a kid. My grandma helped raise me, and she raised me, and she helped me to seek my faith in God at 5 years old. And I'm so proud of it. It's been about 20 years or so, give or take, that I've been a Christian, and I don't regret it. And I will always lean on my faith in God, and I will always lean more towards that, because if I don't, then I'm throwing God away, and I don't want to end up being like my aunt and my uncle, my relatives, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, who threw their lives away from God and went in a different direction. And my grandma's great grandchildren might not even get to know who God is. And maybe this video might help, those who need it. Especially maybe it might help the grandkids to be able to, get closer to God. Who knows? God works in mysterious ways. And let his preaching be rung throughout all of the world. Whether it's through social media or YouTube videos or his word. Most importantly, his word. Or through people. I ask and I pray to the Lord that he will use me to reach to somebody. Yeah, sure, you might not think that I'm a Christian when I'm reacting to stuff like X-Men 97 or My Adventures of Superman and stuff like that, but you find God in anything and everything. And just because that I'm watching these things and maybe there's stuff that I don't agree with in them, doesn't mean that I'm going to take it to heart, and that means I'm going to get so deeply involved. Look, there's the phrase of walking through mud and not getting dirty. That's what I'm doing. I'm still knowing my roots when it comes to God, and I'm keeping my faith, and I'm keeping my relationship with him, and I'm keeping myself rooted into my God-given future and my God-given life. Because that's who he is to me. The most precious of saviors. And that's what Christmas is in general. And with Scrooge being born, when he went and he was saying, show me no more, I promise that I will live in the past, present, and future of Christmas. It's like a prayer, like a sinner's prayer of saying, God, forgive me for the sins that I've committed, because I'm not perfect, I'm sorry, I want to be able for you to come into my heart and be able to make a movement in my life where I can be able to see a rebirth of myself and a transformation be unfolding. And I need for you to show me this path that you want me to take. Even if it's part of the unknown, I want to take this leap of faith and embrace this brand new life. And that's when he says, I'm as light as a feather, I'm as giddy as a schoolboy. That's what that also represents, is when you become a Christian and you truly become one, you then see that your life has been turned around. You've been really diving in deeper into that beautiful aspect of life, and that you want to do everything that you can to get closer to God. And that's why I'm involving God in my videos, because this is my way of getting closer to God. Because if I talk about it and I have community and I have conversations with him, prayers that are like conversations, then I feel like I'm going to get better, closer to God, reading his word, and stop paying attention to things around me that are going to make me fear. It's not worth it. Fear is not worth your happiness. Fear is not worth your relationship with God. Fear is not worth any of that. Joy, love, peace, patience, kindness, and understanding, and the fruits of the Holy Spirit are the only thing that's worth it. Sure, I know. It's a Christmas movie. I should have been talking about Christmas. I should have been talking about all the other different aspects that I loved about the movie. But this has to be first, because there is such a huge parallelism between the two. It's unavoidable. Especially if you are in a relationship with God, or you had a relationship with God and that you don't even know what kind of other type of things that you want to, other types of ways you want to get back. I mean, this is unavoidable. It's very unavoidable. And you have to do this in order for you to take this next beautiful step to be a better Christian and a better person. So, if you want to accept Christ, now's the time. All it takes is the prayer of, and if you want to say this with me, Lord Jesus Christ, I'm sorry for not following your word. I am sorry for sinning, and I am sorry that I have not come to you sooner. I ask you that you will make a beautiful change within me, and I accept you into my heart, and I accept you as my personal Lord and Savior. I ask for you to make a transformative movement in my life, for me to see your glory, and for me to see your mercy and your peace and your patience, so that way I can build a good, strong relationship with you, and that way I can be able to see your beauty and the beauty of the world the way that you see it. And in your name I pray, amen. It's as simple as that. Sure, maybe I over-exemplified it a bit, but that's a prayer I would give, so that way I could truly feel his immense power, or his immense, beautiful, gorgeous power, his peace, and his warmth. So that's my analysis on it. But I do want to say Michael Caine did an incredible job playing Scrooge as both the terrible Scrooge and the good Scrooge. I believe that he had good chemistry between himself and the Muppet characters, between him and the actual live actors. And I believe that the songs were very, very relatable to not only relationship with God and having this beautiful message that needed to be said in all of them, even with the Scrooge song, that I believe that it's a good setting up song for a so-called villain. And I believe that this was a very well-written version of Christmas Carol. The songs written by the one and only Paul Williams is incredible, especially my favorite being Bless Us All and It Feels Like Christmas. I love those two. They're my favorite ones out of this whole entire movie. And yes, like I said, I'm going to do my best to see if by the time that this gets released, that maybe maybe I can only be able to have the audio from the songs to be included, so it can sound like a duet instead of it just me singing by myself. I would love for that to happen, and if I can get that to happen, that would be amazing. And we'll see what happens with the final reaction on if they took it out or not. The Muppet actors and puppeteers, absolutely awesome as always. The costume designs, the set designs were absolutely on point. The visual effects for this movie being 1992 is spectacular, and I'm so happy with how they ended up creating all of it. And I believe that they did a great job with everything. And I just cannot wait to see more on the channel for this Christmas movie marathon. And I hope that you guys really enjoyed this reaction as much as I enjoyed experiencing this movie all over again. It's really emotionally driven. It's beautifully well done. And it's beautifully sung, written, and acted. And this is a movie that I definitely recommend for the families out there, especially right now, because it's something that we need right now. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching my reaction to Muppets Christmas Carol. This is day 4. If you guys want to see more reactions like this, and especially if you want to be caught up on the 25 Days of Christmas Movie Marathon, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to follow me on any of my social media, I have Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, aka X, my Discord, and my Discord server, and my TikTok accounts, which those links will be in the description below. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you all. Stay safe, and I will see you all in the next videos. Bye, guys.